Next man up, Brady becomes the only quarterback ever to make 7 Super Bowl appearances. He extended his record with his 24th postseason win. Those 24 wins are more than 26 teams what they have in their franchise history.
He's the ultimate team player. He's a competitor. He's our leader, and we love him. So we play for Tom.
There's a reason he's one of the best to ever play the game. That's why we have respect for him, and we know coming into this environment what we were up against, and that's why we needed to play a near flawless game, and we didn't.
Big Ben calls him the best to ever play the game. Max did yesterday prove that Tom Brady is the greatest ever.
No, he proved that a long time ago. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time because Tom Brady is Derek Jeter with A-Rod numbers. He's Joe Montana with Dan Marino numbers. You know, he's Tom Brady now with Peyton Manning numbers. In every sport, you can find that comparison to two who are side-by-side contemporaries. One of them gives you the feeling that they're better, usually because they're on a better coached team, and they win more championships. And the other guy's just more talented, putting up bigger numbers. You go, if you would have switched teams, maybe the guy putting up bigger numbers would really be unanimously considered the best. And that was the case with Jeter and A-Rod, and that was the case with Montana and Marino, and that was the case for years with Brady and Peyton, except now Brady's putting up those Peyton numbers, and he's Tom Brady, the guy who wins all the Super Bowls. But let's be clear about this. The greatness of Tom Brady is because he's sustained this absurdly high level of excellence over an impossibly long time. It's not because he's playing the position at the highest level we've ever seen it play. There's a guy this year, Aaron Rodgers, who has played it at a higher level than Tom Brady.
Even yesterday, even after you said yesterday.
If you put Aaron Rodgers on, if you
I just want to be clear. Even after yesterday's game, you still hold it.
We're gonna get to that a little bit later. But if you swap teams, if you put them on each other's team, there's no way Green Bay is in the NFC Championship.
Donovan, please.
Oh God!
I tried.
Okay, first of all, will you stop with this Aaron Rodgers is the Michael Jordan of the NFL? Because he's not. And
he's the best player in football.
Stop.
By quite a measure.
No, stop.
Yeah, by a lot.
Okay, he may be the best quarterback, but he's not the best player in the NFL to compare him to Michael Jordan. And then you're comparing.
There is no Michael Jordan in football.
There is no right.
He's
so
the closest
don't even
thing
compare.
to it. I didn't say it. You just did.
And then your whole comparison with Jeter and A-Rod numbers. No, that is not true because Jeter's not a home run hitter and A-Rod was. And with Dan Marino and Joe Montana. Joe Montana would never put up the numbers that Dan Marino put up. But
that's why
the thing that you tried to explain that you didn't get to is he's a winner. It's not about the numbers. It's not about if he's throwing however many touchdowns. He's a winner.
Right.
He's the greatest quarterback of all time at this point. Win or lose in the Super Bowl, he's number one over Joe Montana. And what made Joe Montana great? Because he was a winner as well.
Right. In other words,
not
Jeter also a winner, Montana a winner,
but it
Brady
wasn't
a
about
winner.
Their numbers.
But now Brady also has the numbers. That's my point.
But see, Brady's numbers are nowhere compared to Peyton Manning's numbers.
In his best season there.
Yeah, 1 or 2 seasons with Randy Moss. And that's the difference between a lot of these players that we're mentioning. It's not about the supporting cast of Hall of Famers that he played with at the skill position, but they're winners. When Tom Brady steps on the football field, that whole football field feels confident in the fans and the players that they're going to win the game because of Tom Brady. Not because of Tom Brady's ability to throw for 400 yards or whatever touchdown, because of his greatness when the chips are down with 2 minutes to go in the game, they know that he will win the football game. There's something to be said about 7 Super Bowl appearances. When right now going into the Super Bowl, he's 4-2. When on 2 big plays, he would be 6-0. And so when you think about the great players who have played these games, the John Elways, the Dan Marinos, the Steve Youngs, the Troy Aikmans, people who have won multiple Super Bowls, and you look at where they were through the middle of their career toward the end of their career, Tom Brady stands alone at 39 years old to play the way he played this year, to lead to the Super Bowl, and the way that he's been playing throughout his career. He is the greatest all time.
Did it take you until now to realize that? Because he's been there. He's been there for a minute.
The last 5 years, I've always said that he was 1B behind Joe Montana. It's hard to pass over Joe Montana and the teams that they've had. No one talks about like Walsh like they talk so much about Bill Belichick being so great. Bill Belichick is a defensive-minded guy. So offensively, when you have a quarterback that can play the way he's been playing, that says a lot. He's number one all time, no matter if he wins or loses the Super Bowl.
It's hard to argue against y'all points on a day like today after he performed the way that he did
on your team
yesterday's in the AFC Championship game. You can rub that in. Don't get me started. Don't get me started talking about your Eagles. But let me say this to you. But I'm going to try anyway because I'm a Joe Montana guy. Always have been. I think that he's the ultimate winner. I could see that Tom Brady, longevity, 39 years of age, doing what he's doing, not trying to take anything away from him. But I just want to throw a couple of stats by y'all. Not numbers, names. Do you know that in Tom Brady, first of all, first couple of Super Bowls they won, primarily it was due to their defense, even though Tom Brady...
And also Vinatieri.
And Adam Vinatieri, yes. So, yes, that. So you got a couple of Super Bowls there where it was Tom Brady, relatively pedestrian, didn't make any mistakes. He wasn't the Tom Brady that he is now, conceivably so, because he was young in his career. We understand that. But nevertheless, that's a fact. Let's also throw this out there. Just wanted to throw this out there, y'all. Stand corrected if I'm wrong. I got Tom Brady's playoff log in front of me. Let me tell you the quarterbacks who he has lost to in the postseason. Jake Plummer. Did you know that? Of course, he lost to Peyton Manning. Joe Flacco a couple of times. Peyton Manning again last year, last year or whatever. You got again, I mentioned Joe Flacco. And so we look at it from that perspective. Okay, and Eli Manning twice.
Bowl, yeah.
So Eli Manning, 2 Super Bowls. Jake, from the Eli Mannings of the world to the Peyton Mannings of the world, all the way down to the Jake Plumbers of the world. I'm saying to you, I also recognize that if it were not for the stupidest call in the history of the Super Bowl by Pete Carroll and his offensive coordinator to try to make Russell Wilson into a hero instead of giving Marshawn Lynch the ball at the half-yard line, it would still be since 2004 that Tom Brady has actually won a Super Bowl.
I want to respond to that quickly, Donovan, before you get in.
So what I'm saying to y'all is, again, he's every bit as great as y'all say he is. I agree with that. But that's where I pause in terms of putting him ahead of Joe Montana. That's the only issue for me.
I want to mention one thing.
Because of the quarterbacks that he's lost to?
Yeah.
I want to add one thing.
What about the defenses that he faced
Brady
too with those?
didn't have Jerry Rice.
Right.
So let's don't even put
Gronkowski.
Hold on. They didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right, okay. But they were considered the greatest team of all time until Eli Manning beat them rightly.
Listen, he had Deion Branch.
2 things. One.
He's had Givens. He's had guys that...
2 things. The reason Brady loses in the playoffs to those kind of quarterbacks, Stephen A., is because he's in the playoffs every year. He has to lose in the playoffs eventually, or he'd win the Super Bowl every year. He's making his 7th Super Bowl appearance, and he's won 4 so far. Of course he occasionally has to lose to Jake Plummer or Eli or Flacco, whoever. Secondly, he's not playing the other quarterback. He's playing their defense. This is a team game. The same way people like Molly and Donovan give him a little too much credit because a lot of it's the coaching and the teams he's on. You're taking the credit away because it's a team game. He's playing the other defense.
How are you giving him too much credit because of the coaching? You have to play the game.
I want to say one more thing about Montana Brady. Here's the difference in the comparison. This is why I brought up the numbers. You're right. It was always Brady is the Montana of this era. The difference is Montana wasn't putting up Marino numbers, and that's my point. If you're looking for a tiebreaker between Brady and Montana, Brady is Montana putting up Marino and Peyton-type numbers.
He's not putting up Marino's numbers. But
all I was trying to say is that we're not taking any credit away from Brady. The question is when you talk about him being the greatest, whoever you considered the greatest prior to him and his elevation, why would you give him the nod? So all I'm saying to you is when I think about the competition he's going against and those first 2 Super Bowls, which I credit their defense and Adam Vinatieri more so than anything else, I'm looking at it and saying, okay, Brady is the man, but do I put him above Montana? That's where my trepidation kicks in.
So you saying yes, you do?
Yes. I'm saying that I keep Montana there. For me. That's what I'm saying.
All right. We want to know what you guys think at home about Super Bowl 51. Matt Ryan and the Falcons facing Tom Brady and the Patriots. But who wins? Go on Twitter now and vote those results a little later in the show. Donovan, you are sticking with us. Oh, maybe you could shoot some Facebook Lives. It was another day in the office for the New England Patriots, dominating the Steelers in the AFC Championship. Pittsburgh did lose Le'Veon Bell in the second quarter. Huge blow, of course. The New England Patriots will make their 9th Super Bowl appearance, most all time. Stephen A., I know this one's personal for you. Was this more about good Pats or bad Steelers?
It was more about bad Steelers. I don't care what anybody says. We know the greatness of Brady. We knew the greatness of Brady coming into this game. But anytime some dude named Chris Hogan, who can ball, but anytime some dude named Chris Hogan is made to look like the second coming of Jerry Rice or Julio Jones, since they had identical stats, whatever you want to call it, something is wrong with this picture. Now listen, I am not in a very good mood, I will confess, okay? I'm a bit emotional right now because I'm a Steelers fan, and I'm very, very disgusted by what I saw because, my God, I mean, watching the Steelers play yesterday, it was more predictable than Max Kellerman wearing one of them damn vests, okay? It just bothers me. It just bothers me to no end. How in God's name do you play against Tom Brady and you don't blitz? You send a 3-man rush. This brother stepping back in the pocket, D-Nav. He's sitting up there calling Giselle, telling them that I'm going to see you after which restaurant we going to, calling his family, blowing kisses to his lover. This is before he threw a damn pass. This is what he was doing in the pocket. Pass after pass after pass. 32 for 42, no pressure whatsoever. Predictable zone defenses. And again, Hogan, whether it's LeGarrette Blount, of course, Edelman. I mean, you got to be kidding me. How do you not put any pressure on this man? And then offensively, that damn Todd Haley. It's first and goal at the 1 foot line. You call two predictable running plays. And then you got Ben Roethlisberger. You don't put the ball in his hands until third time. And he throws some pass in the flat to Eli Rogers. That wasn't going to get into the end zone anyway. I'm talking about 2 running plays for -4 yards. So again, it breaks my heart to say this because if I'm going to point to Keith Butler, the defensive coordinator, I'm going to point to Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator. How can I let Mike Tomlin off the hook? You are the head coach. Come up with something different. Throw a monkey wrench in a plan. Try a surprise. Something. And I mean just nothing. The Steelers stunk up the joint. I am sick and tired of watching this team, the way that they are defensively. They need to return to the steel curtain. I don't know how they're going to do it, but damn it, figure out a way. I'm just disgusted.
You would
right
not
now.
know
Go
that
ahead.
this team just got to the AFC Championship game. Here's the thing. Look, I picked the Pats to win, and I did that after it came out that the Steelers had the flu, and then the Antonio Brown Facebook stuff and all that stuff, but that's not what determined this game. On top of everything else, as great as Mike Tomlin is, and as great as Roethlisberger is, Belichick and Brady are greater. That's why, as great as the Pittsburgh organization has been and franchise has been in recent years, they are, the Pats are on a different level. There are levels to this. Even among Hall of Famers, there are tiers. And Belichick and Brady are on the uppermost tier Hall of Fame caliber talent, and ability. If you look at this game, and I'm not saying the Steelers were good. Of course, Le'Veon Bell goes out with 6 rushes for 20 yards, and now he's not playing anymore. Groin injury. That's going to hurt you. I'm not saying it's good Steelers. But look at the Pats' run defense. Look at the 5 catch-passer sets that they were running. That turns Hogan into a star, right? I mean, that's why Hogan looks like a star. You got too many options all over the field, and Brady playing still on an incredibly elite level. That's great Patriots. Even there was one kick return that got brought to the 30 or 31, and I thought to myself, that's the first time I've seen this year that I can remember off the top of my head any kick returner getting it past the 25-yard line against the Patriots in every phase of the game because they had the greatest coach who's ever lived. They are better prepared than the other team. Offense, defense, special teams, they always have it together.
Hold on for a second. Could y'all turn down the heat, please? It's hot here.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm complaining.
It's only
I'm in a good mood. It's hot.
Is it hot or your body temperature?
Can we get some AC in here? That's all I'm trying to say.
That was a hot take, Stephen. It had nothing to do with the temperature.
No, hell no, it's hot.
I'm actually feeling pretty cool right now.
That's a lie. That's a lie. You just messing with me. But go ahead.
I just want to repeat my point one more time, excuse me, that there was no Rob Gronkowski. And so many people said they wouldn't get there.
But see, this is the thing about with Rob Gronkowski. I think without Rob Gronkowski, now you have to spread the ball around and get everybody involved. Now, Chris Hogan may not be a household name, but he's a guy that runs great routes and he catches the football. Julian Edelman is the same thing. I think for what we've seen, they are the Hoosiers of basketball. The New England Patriots is that basketball team that comes in, they're back screening, they're cutting back door, they're getting easy layups, they're talking on defense. They allow you to mess up on your own. And I think if you look at the games that they've played, I don't think that they should have beat the Houston Texans. but the Houston Texans allowed them to win because of the mistakes that Brock Osweiler made. And on defense, after being out there for so long, they gave them opportunities in the passing game. Same with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The thing that the New England Patriots thrive off of is they allow you to lose the game. Ben Roethlisberger has been playing well throughout this whole playoffs. Le'Veon Bell has been the guy that's been leading the charge. It hasn't been Antonio Brown and his remarkable catches that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. It's the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't the same offense that we've seen during the regular season. They were a different team. And defensively, what they did was they got healthier and they started tackling better. They're not a...
The thing is, though, Donovan, you say, like, Houston should have beaten them. Brady had a bad game against Houston by his standards. He hung 30-plus on the best defense in football.
Well, yeah, you hung 30-plus on them with Brock Osweiler turning the football over and giving you great field position. Think about it.
They just
think of the mistakes.
2 teams on the way to the Super Bowl.
But think of the mistakes that the Houston Texans made. The Houston Texans turned the football over, throwing the football, and then the New England Patriots turned it over with Deion Lewis coughing it up on the return.
But
they still found ways to win.
Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb, that's a great coach and a great quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin, they're great. And you know why we lost? Due respect, you lost because there are levels, and the combination of Belichick and Brady is different from everybody else.
No, there weren't. We should have beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Everyone should have, could have.
But we turned the football over. We turned the football over and gave them more and more opportunities. And the same goes to this Super Bowl. If the Atlanta Falcons can go into this game and play the way they played against Green Bay, they win this game by 10 or more points. Because they are not as talented as we think they are defensively. Because in the secondary, we can put Malcolm Butler out there for what he's done since the Super Bowl. But do you really think Malcolm Butler can stop Julio Jones one-on-one? Absolutely not.
No one can stop Julio Jones one-on-one.
Thank you. If you can't stop Julio Jones, so who's going to stop Gabriel? Who's going to stop Sanu? Who's going to stop Coleman? Who's going to stop Freeman? If this offense can be efficient for what we've seen and not turn the football over, something the Pittsburgh Steelers weren't able to do, because if they catch the ball in the end zone by the tight end, if they catch the deep ball with Coates, now all of a sudden it's a different ball game.
Deep ball with Coates, Hamilton dropped the touchdown pass. There's no question about that.
And then
one time he caught the damn pass, but he had ran out of bounds first and then came back in bounds. So he didn't know the rules. I mean, you know.
That air conditioner's going. You feel that air conditioner?
On a Belichick team, by the way.
I'm just saying, I'm thinking about it. Look, man, it's not that the Steelers lost, it would have hurt me. It's the fashion in which they lost. They went down like a bunch of weaklings, man. And I'm thinking about Big Ben Roethlisberger, and you're talking about a 2-time Super Bowl champion that in some people's eyes obviously was mentioned to some degree in that upper tier and what have you, because we know he's going to be a Hall of Famer. You just expect more. Todd Haley not calling his number. I thought that was indictment. Then obviously Le'Veon Bell goes down. D'Angelo Williams can only do but so much. You're looking at this receiver. Antonio Brown was double covered all day long in key situations. And you just look at the Steelers and you just said, there's nothing surprising here.
They couldn't run the ball.
You knew what they were coming at you with, and you could do nothing.
They couldn't run the ball on that defense.
Well, you can't do anything. And then also everyone's looking at, what can Mike Tomlin change? They're a 3-4 defense. They're 3-4 cover 3. These are their holes that you can run and also throw the football. They can't change. In 2004, we played Bill Belichick. He changed from a 3-4 to 4-3. The Pittsburgh Steelers can't do that. They don't have the personnel to change from a 3-4 to
You know what
4-3.
you could have done, in my opinion? You know what you could have done? You could have put a hat on Tom Brady early to make him feel you.
Well, how will you do that?
Let me finish. I know that you're going to pay a price because he's Tom Brady. But if you're soft enough, when you look at what you got, that might have been your only hope.
Perfect segue, Stephen A., because I want to dive into Tom Brady. So many thought, as I alluded to earlier, Brady's Lombardi dreams are over when Rob Gronkowski was sidelined for the season, but we know the Patriot way.